Hi, this is Riley Duckworth and you are listening to SIPA's Exiles, the podcast. It's like radio, but you can listen to it wherever and whenever you want. Also, unfortunately, it's music free because we don't have rights, but, sometimes being the best journalist in Sabana doesn't always mean you got money for everything. Take it away, Andrés.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, yes, for anybody who has stuck around with us, who can endure us long enough to stick with us this long, we were discussing first local news, which had to do with a couple of trees that were cut down at an apartment complex here in SIPA.
Yeah. Well, the whole situation is based on the action taken by the community. The people of this apartment complex, they were pretty worried or concerned about the four big trees, pretty heavy ones actually. I was thinking they were small ones, but we realized we were in situ and we seen really big.
They were taller than the building.
Yeah, and weight around 1 or 2 tons, like 2,000, no, like 3,000 pounds, 4,000 pounds, around that,
Probably
right?
more than that.
Yeah. So
the one that we saw laying, anyways.
The question is, are you how you qualify the action taken by the community? They decide to ask to the local government and the national government actually, because we have two different entities who are in charge of the environment. So they ask for the permission to cut down the trees, but after they did, immediately the ecologists, or
they weren't really ecologists, they were activists.
The activists of the tree huggers, they came around. They asked all the media to be present, and they were doing the same as a Greta Thunberg, right? Greta Thunberg, what is it?
I would not make that comparison.
Oh man,
she's an activist against climate change. They were protesting a couple of willow trees being cut down so they wouldn't smash.
Well, everybody wants to be Greta Thunberg these days, right? You steal my future.
Well, when she says that, she's not lying.
Okay. Anyways, 4 trees actually, and today they were only cut. They only cut down 2 trees.
When we got there, one was lying across the creek. So the other had already been cut up into planks.
Behind this, there's a lot of political ambitions. Everybody wants to be in front of cameras, but to make big things smaller, this is one heavy tree who actually collapsed on this building, breaking some glasses, some windows, destroying one TV, but unfortunately it was in the room of one toddler. So to be honest, I'm on the side of the community, because you need to reduce the risk of the people who actually are living there, right? And the risk, I guess, is a risk assessment office who are in charge of deciding what trees can be cut down, right? So if you are an ecologist, an activist, but you don't live in this apartment complex, so I mean, why you have to do all this show around 2 trees, right? So I don't know what you think, Riley.
I would say that that if it poses a serious danger, then they are well within their rights to cut it down. Of course, they have to take environmental concerns into consideration. If there's an immediate danger of it harming people, then yes, and they do have a right to cut it down, and that was a very large tree. I will say, before we move on, that when I was growing up, right outside my bedroom window, there was a tree, well, probably a bit taller than that one, it was right outside, my bedroom window, and if it had fallen, and we had a lot stronger winds out there than you do here, it would have crushed our house, starting with my bedroom, although we never cut it down because we never
Yeah, actually,
saw it as danger.
I was thinking the same. I mean, there's a lot of activists, and don't make mistake. I mean, I really support ecology and the environment and all these things. But if you really want to make the difference, go to the Amazon, right? That's where they're cutting down like the whole jungle.
Yes, and that tree, those trees, I'm pretty sure, are a non-native species.
They're not native
They were
species.
planted there for decoration, were they not?
I don't know who planted there, but the thing is, they not belong to our ecosystem, right? So they are completely strange and alien for us.
They're non-native species.
Yeah, how do you say endemic?
Non-native.
Non-native.
I mean, if they do environmental harm, then you would call them invasive.
Yeah, I mean, here
I don't think those are invasive.
Here in our town is a lot of people throwing trash everywhere, and nobody says a thing about it.
Well, okay. Well, I was going to say, if you want to talk about invasive species, something I have seen, not so much within the city limits of SIPA, but when we've gone to out to Sesquilet and places like that, I see a lot of Himalayan blackberry, and that is an invasive species. I know that because where I'm from, it grows everywhere, and it's invasive there too. It's bad for the local plants because, well, have you seen it? The blackberry plants with the really thick vines. Yeah, they grow really tall and they block out the sunlight for other plants. In addition to growing about an inch a day.
I'll tell you a story to compare situations, right? Once I was in a road trip with my boss, Russian one, who was here in Colombia, and my ex-wife. So my former boss, he decided to throw out some garbage through the window, and immediately my ex-wife, she just jumped on it and it started screaming like, "Oh, don't do that! It's too bad, ecology and everything." So I was trying. It was just right in the middle of this. My wife and my boss, and it was hard for me. But my boss explained me like, "Listen, yeah, I understand her point, but the thing is, in Russia, we are really professional destroying the environment. I mean, there we have heavy industries and a lot of factories and things like that. Here in Colombia, come on, what?"
Yeah, that's not something to brag about.
Well, yeah, but it's just a story how different points of view are in these days. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's not one that really adds much moral ambiguity.
Okay, so let's move on to something more ambiguous.
Something more ambiguous?
Yeah, something like the impeachment of Mr. Trump.
Yeah, this is the well, it's stranger because it's less ambiguous than anything else that has happened over the course of his presidency.
You must be very happy because he is.
No, I'm not happy.
Why? At the end,
I would have been much happier if he just left office without conflict.
Wow. Now he's not living without conflict. Believe me.
No, yeah, no duh. It's that's the most understated way to put it.
Well, anyways, this hunger for revenge, as you call it, like punishment, is useless. I mean, it's 8 days to go. 8 days to finish this.
That I would say would be mischaracterizing it because and this was the case with his other impeachment too. But this is only happening because he put Congress in this situation. This is absolutely not happening because they want to impeach him. Do you think the 10 Republican representatives who voted to impeach him wanted to do it?
Well, there are for sure 10 Republicans who are now just thinking what the hell we did. I mean, it's hard to be in the side of the president, and it's hard to be in the side of the people, and it's hard to be on the side of your own party.
Yeah. Right? So, do you think they wanted to do this? Do you think that they were driven by some misguided desire for vengeance?
I don't know what is they want to figure as the savers of the planet, like of the savers of the constitution or whatever. But I mean, once you are in a party, you have to respect the party, right?
That's not really what's happening.
It's a party decision, isn't it?
For the ones who voted against impeachment, what you're seeing here is all the members of Congress, and well, I include Democrats in this too, even if they are perhaps less conflicted about voting yes. I guarantee you, none of them wanted to be in this position. Nobody in the country wanted to be in this position.
Okay, but let's go back to the spark of this fire, I guess. What he was saying in his speech, like actually drove mad all these people and to make these people to storm the Capitol.
It wasn't one thing.
Did he say something like, "Let's go destroy"? Let's go and tear down the Capitol. Did he say that?
Yeah, he didn't have to. What his speech, which again was an entire speech and not a single statement, was the culmination of months of this rhetoric. It's no secret that he has this kind of following, and that in the past he has at the very least tacitly encouraged the worst impulses of his supporters. No, it was, and nothing what he said was innocent. He was saying the election was stolen. It was fraudulent. He was the real winner, and so ultimately what they did was they took his rhetoric to its logical conclusion, because there was no chance in hell that Congress wasn't going to certify Biden's victory. The objections of certain Republican senators would at most just delay the process of certification. So by storming the Capitol, attempting to interrupt this process...
They made like 64, 65, 65 claims, or how you say it? Like they were all these dismissed, these claims, like it was a fraud. I mean, around the fraud, right? How you call it?
What you mean? You mean the investigations found no evidence of fraud?
Yes.
Many times over. Trump's lawyers got laughed out of court in some cases.
Yeah, I remember Giuliani, right? He's his main lawyer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the same Giuliani who actually was in Borat?
Yes, the same one.
This is all that circus. All right, go ahead.
No, but ultimately the fact that the claims are found to be baseless over and over again does not matter to the people who were attacking the Capitol. They believe these things, and all it took was a little push. I mean, because again, it wasn't just that speech. You've been telling them these things for months. It was less one day of inciting riots as much as it was the culmination of the effects of this kind of rhetoric.
So, do you think this is the final solution, or this is the end for
That's
Donald
a poor
Trump?
choice of words.
Everybody was saying like this is pretty much like a Nazi party. Anyways, do you think this is the end of Donald Trump as a politician? I mean, his career just came to an end.
His end as a public figure, I don't think so. I highly doubt that he. I think that after what has happened now, I think he'll probably be. It's unlikely that he will be. Again, I'm not trying to predict the future with certainty. A lot of things can happen in 4 years, but I doubt that he'll be the Republican nominee in 2024.
But anyways,
but he'll still be a major figure in the party because.
But here in Colombia, even the worst presidents, they still have a kind of image. They have a kind of presence in within the party, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like Clinton, like Bill Clinton, or
Clinton has
Bush,
kind of,
or Obama. He's the figure. I mean, the most venerable figure inside of the Democratic Party, right?
Well, I would say that
Even Bush, he's
Yeah.
still
Well,
somebody, right?
Bush's, I would say, I mean, on each of those ex-presidents you mentioned, Clinton has faded. Clinton isn't exactly reviled, but his image has faded somewhat in the Democratic Party because it has kind of moved. It's kind of moved beyond his era. The party has moved further to the left. He embodied a time when it was more centrist. These days, even Biden, who is sort of the de facto leader of the more moderate faction of the party, is further to the left.
What about Sanders? Sanders is pretty
He,
cool,
he's,
right?
he's what you would call the de facto leader of the far left faction of the party. The Democratic Party, this is what it has really kind of. This is where it's kind of both a blessing and a curse for the party. Is that well they command a larger number of people voting for them than do the Republicans. However, what they have a more heterogeneous coalition, and that makes it difficult racially, religiously, ethnically, culturally, and ideologically. The Democratic Party is more diverse, and while that means that they have more people, it also means that keeping them together is more of a challenge. The Republican Party is, in terms of demographic trends in the country, it's on the road to becoming may not even be on the road. It is a minority party now because it's.
Oh, come on, that's not.
But where it has an advantage is that it's more homogenous. It can.
Actually, what are you looking for a party to be like that, right?
Well, I mean, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off because the Democrats, because the Republican Party is not a party that's popular with the majority of Americans.
But it's easy to follow a party like the Republicans.
But it's
a kind of conservative, and you have like a one line, right?
We're in vehement agreement, Andres. What I'm saying is that there's a trade-off. The Republican Party has as we saw in this election, it got a minority of votes, but its base is more homogenous. It doesn't have to appeal to as many different types of people as the Democrats do.
It's exactly what I was saying.
That's why I said we're in vehement agreement.
Yeah, exactly. It's like here in Colombia, the left, they have to take every one of any actor in the society.
Yeah, and in this past election, that coalition did hold together. It was a very broad one that included even not a large number, but included moderate Republicans who were fed up with Trump. It was a Biden bragged about the fact that both Bernie Sanders on the far left and John Kasich, the Republican former governor of Ohio, who's basically center-right, that they both supported him. The challenge going forward for Democrats in general and Biden specifically will be keeping that coalition together with Trump, now that Trump will not be there to be sort of an opposition figure that unites them.
But do you think these 4 years were completely lost then?
What do you mean?
I mean, you lost 4 years of the Republican presidency, because if you see every single president, when they were elected, they always have the aspiration to be re-elected, right?
Yes.
So what they do is the first 4 years they kind of.
Although in Colombia that's no longer the case.
No, it's no longer the case. Yeah, but the thing is, in the first 4 years they kind of they apparently go under the radar. They just do few things to make the public opinion to be happy, and then when they get re-elected, the next 4 years is when they really start working. It's like Obama's presidency is what they say they happen, right?
It's sort of like that. The trouble with the Obama invoking the Obama administration there is that he actually managed to accomplish, at least domestically, his most significant achievements early on, because at that time, Democrats controlled both houses of Congress. Like, for example, the stimulus package
Obamacare.
and the Affordable Care Act. Those he managed to accomplish early in his presidency because that was when Democrats controlled both the House and Senate. And things became more difficult later on when Republicans gained control of the House and then the Senate and were committed to obstructing him.
Right, but my question is, President Trump, let's say he is a kind of a showman, right? But our opinion about him is pretty unexpectable, right? You never know what he's gonna do or what is gonna be next.
You mean he's unpredictable?
Unpredictable, yeah. So
that's part of his showmanship.
Yeah. But the thing is, many supporters, like the Americans supporting him, is because they see on him like kind of a solid figure or like a solid leader. Because Russians, even Putin, sorry, he kind of respect Trump because you never know what he's gonna do. Even China's prime minister, forgot his name.
Yeah, I'm not sure they respected him.
But not respect, but what happened when you never know what is your neighbor's gonna do, right?
I mean, I would say that in Trump clearly had a mindset in which leaders gain respect by acting like the kinds of leaders that he admires. That is to say, people like Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping, yeah.
Trump has that sort of mindset of thinking that he thinks that because you don't hear as much about people saying nasty things about them, that it means that they are respected. That's part of the reason why he admires why he admires autocratic leaders. He thinks that they command respect, and he probably envies their ability to deal with dissent by force.
Well, but exactly what happened when he was impeached the first time. I mean, Vladimir Putin, he didn't believe what was going on in the States. I mean, even when he wanted to...
well, it's because he couldn't imagine that happening to him.
Yeah, but the thing is, what Vladimir Putin says is why you Americans, they never let a president to be a president. I mean, they never let a president to work. And it is because you have a lot of regulations over the president, not to let him do whatever he wants, right?
Okay, speaking as an American, I am fine with the laws and regulations that say that I can't be poisoned for criticizing the president.
No. Well, you never know if it was real Vladimir Putin or was somebody else. But anyways. Well, we're not talking about the mistakes of presidents. I'm saying it's like...
You think that was a mistake?
Well, I guess... I mean, how many already he already poisoned? I mean, he never. Well, now we're talking about Putin. Really?
Okay, let's get back to Trump.
Yeah.
Then. But the point I was making is that Trump definitely has the mindset. He definitely, by the way he speaks about people like Putin, he clearly admires and probably envies the things that they are able to do. He would probably love to be able to imprison or murder his critics. Yeah.
Okay, but well, whatever. This is the situation. We have the 45th president.
He is the 45th president.
45th
yes.
president. Now he's already to be impeached. Or
he has been impeached.
He has been impeached. Right.
He is the first president in the history of the country to be impeached twice.
I'm pretty sure around the world he is the only one with 2 impeachments on his back. I mean, really? I mean,
he's also...
Who can have 2 impeachments in one term? In
this
4
guy.
years? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. We have to search. We have to Google it, I guess. How many presidents were impeached twice in one term?
Yeah, and his last impeachment was only a little more than a year ago.
I mean, this guy is a Pandora's box. I mean, it's a lot of it's a lot of fun sometimes. Let me tell you, man.
Not if it shouldn't be, and I can tell you as an American, the past 4 years have not been fun, and I'm glad they're going to be over. I mean, I don't think that we're going to have a return to normalcy as we understood it. But I mean, I'm glad that there is going to be that in these challenging times there's going to be a change of leadership. That's another understatement. We are the program of understatement.
All right, Mr. Donald Trump, we wish you the best, isn't it? Or you wish him the worst?
I mean, in terms of removing him from office, look, the impeachment trial, it's not going to actually remove him from office because the Senate's not going to reconvene in time So another unusual aspect is that if he is convicted, he will almost certainly be convicted after he leaves office.
But anyways,
it would be. Some people say that it's that what we need is unity and forgiveness, and I think that that an unprecedented attack on our democracy needs to be dealt with a little more harshly than that.
Okay, let me go with the the worst prediction I have. What if Donald Trump unleash his atomic arsenal or nukes, or
Representatives.
Mrs. Pelosi. She said
The Speaker of the House,
the
Nancy
Speaker of the
Pelosi.
House, Nancy Pelosi.
She talked to the generals about about the situation regarding Trump and the nuclear codes is.
The nuclear, how you call it, football, right?
Yes, that's what it's called.
But this is pretty funny. But just 8 days before he's leaving the office, he decided to lift up some sanctions against Taiwan. So he was making the Chinese government going mad, right? So what if they decide to attack the Taiwan or make something on Taiwan?
That would be if the Chinese decided to attack Taiwan, that would be a stupid move by them. If they were to do it just to spite a president who's about to leave and possibly be kicked out of office, that would be a stupid decision strategically for them.
Well, nobody knows. Everybody wants to destroy America these days. It's like in the movies. What if everything going to exactly that breaking point? Yeah, when one attack on Taiwan, president being impeached, civil war in the States. Oh, come on, everything can happen.
If what happened last week was a civil war, it was a pretty pathetic one. The outrage is more over the fact that it happened. It wasn't because it was a particularly effective assault on the Capitol. It only lasted a few hours.
But it could be worse. There were armed people.
Yes, there were armed people, and it could have been worse. And yes, it was I'm not trying to downplay the danger that people who were involved in it felt. One of the interviews in the aftermath of it, one Congressman, Jason Crow of Colorado, said who was a former Army Ranger, said that he hadn't felt that way since his time in Iraq and Afghanistan. But what I was saying is that the outrage surrounding this thing has less to do with how effective an attempted coup it was, because it was one that was not very effective, and it's sometimes comically ridiculous.
Anybody knows it wasn't a coup. It was trying to make a coup.
Their intention. Well, attempting to subvert an election in favor of the guy who lost, I would call that a coup attempt. Anyways,
But-
it was.
but-
It was. But
My
the
biggest
point-
fear, my
the
biggest
point-
fear, it was when I saw pictures of Chuck Norris in the Capitol. It was really my biggest fear.
He was a lookalike.
Yeah, it was a lookalike. But can you imagine if it was Chuck Norris there?
Well, if Chuck Norris was there, then his ass would be in jail now because they are arresting people who were involved in that.
you can arrest Chuck Norris.
The
for sure.
have you heard about the situation of the guy they call the QAnon shaman?
Yeah, he was
Uh,
arrested already.
yes, he was arrested, and he hasn't. According to the last news I saw, he has not eaten since his arrest because apparently they don't serve organic food in jail, and he says he requires a shamanic diet.
Shit, that's awesome. Okay, anyways, thank you everybody for listening to our podcast. We will be continue doing this podcast and follow up.
Yes, our podcast is available on Buzzsprout, on Spotify, and on our own website, sepaexiles.com.
Okay,
Thank you for listening. I'm Riley Duckworth. This is Andrés Carrillo. This is Sepa's Exiles.